You guys are very smart. And I mean that seriously. I tend to have higher IQ people in my audience, which is really great. And lately, you guys have been leaving comments on my videos that are very good. I'm super impressed. Last few weeks, you guys have really been on your comment game. So what I decided to do is this. I'm going to have regular videos where I highlight certain comments you guys have left, read your comment, and then I will respond to your comment. And then if I include your comment in any of these videos, including this one, I will give you a free book. My book, Big Income from Little Work, on how to set up your own location-independent business. I will actually give you that book. So if you see your comment in this video, send us an email at theonlyblackdragon@gmail.com. Prove that you are that person with screenshots or however else you can, and we will send you the electronic version of that book for free. And from now on, every time I see really good comments, I will make a note of them, put them aside, and I will regularly do these videos where I highlight some of the comments you guys are leaving. And if your comment is highlighted here, you get a free book. Cool for both of us. All right, few comments. First one is from GM. And this is what GM says. In Western cities, this was about the video we had on crime rates in Western cities, how crime rates in Western cities are skyrocketing all over the world, and now they are on par in many respects with third world shithole countries, because the Western world is collapsing. So GM said, in Western cities, the crime is happening all over, while in South America, Africa, and Middle East, crime is usually more central to one area. Great point, and I hadn't thought of that, and he's absolutely right. And if you travel to a lot of other countries, you know this. Whereas in most non-Western cities that have high crime rates, there's an area or a few areas where the crime rates are really bad. But outside of those areas, it's fine. It's great. You're perfectly safe in many respects, or in many cases, you're more safe than you are in the United States. Guadalajara is a great example of this. Guadalajara is my favorite city in Mexico, and there's a part of Guadalajara that's pretty damn bad. You don't even want to go there. You only want to drive through there. But guess what? You just don't go there, and you live on the other side of the city, and you're perfectly safe. It's perfectly fine. That doesn't describe a lot of American cities, or even European cities, where when you have a high crime rate city in the West, the whole city is a problem. You can go just about anywhere except for very rich gated community enclaves, perhaps, and you'll get your car vandalized, you'll get your shit stolen, you'll have homeless people get harassed on the street, and so on. He's absolutely right about that. Continuing on, so you can avoid it, he says. If you make $50,000 a year in an American city, you're gonna live in a shithole apartment in the dangerous parts of town. With 50K in South America, Africa, Middle East cities, you could live in a nice part of town in a gated community with guards and so on. Accurate. Now you could nitpick the $50,000 a year figure. Okay, maybe it's 60,000, maybe it's 70,000. But he's right. Someone who has middle class income in the Western world could live in the best parts of town in places like South America, Southeast Asia, and various other places. Completely correct. And then the crime rate in that city is a non-issue because you're nowhere near that region. Whereas, good point, if you make 50K in the United States, in any major city, you're going to live like a bum because inflation is rampant, crime rates are skyrocketing, home property prices are just fucking ridiculous. I have never seen real estate prices as ridiculous they are in many parts of the United States, where you basically have to be a multi-millionaire to live in a lower middle class home. Not even a nice home, not even a middle class home, a shitty lower class home. Insanity. He's absolutely right. Very good point. And GM, if you're watching this, send us an email and we'll send you your book. Great, great comment. My favorite comments are the ones who are making points that I hadn't thought of. And most of these comments here are in that category. I read these comments and go, oh my God, that's a great point. I never thought of that. Completely correct. All right. Next one. This one is by M. Wayne Rowe. So if that's you, send us an email, we'll give you a book. Here's his comment. Most people think that crime is someone else's problem until it finally hits home. Most people wouldn't even consider leaving their shithole city, much less their collapsing countries. The few Jews that saw the writing on the wall and fled the Nazis early on survived and started new lives. I've done a little reading on this, and that is factually, historically accurate. I do know about some of this. He seems a little more knowledgeable in this than I am, but that is correct. It's not like all the Jews were in big trouble in Germany in the 30s. A lot of Jews were smart and were rational and didn't make a bunch of bullshit excuses and fucking left. Now, continuing on, he says, many begged and pleaded with family members who refused to accept what was happening. Does that sound familiar? We've done several videos on this in this channel, haven't we? About, well, what if my mom doesn't want to go? What if my little brother doesn't want to go? Okay, he doesn't want to go. Either stay there and suffer or leave. And, he's an adult. He makes his own decision. So absolutely, this happened in Nazi Germany. This is true. Even as they were marched into the showers to be gassed, many still refused to accept. Boy, is that accurate. That is very true. A strong percentage of the population, the German population, just couldn't accept it. They couldn't emotionally believe what was happening, and they just kind of sat there and put up with it. That is accurate. That is historically accurate. Sound familiar? Americans who want to vote for Trump and fix everything, right? Canadians, okay? People in Scandinavia, does this sound like it kind of rings a bell? It sure does. And he says, everyone needs a plan B and C nowadays. I don't think you need a plan C, but at least bare minimum, as I've been saying 10,000 times, you need an international backup plan. If you don't want to leave your country, fine, but you need an international backup plan where you have residency, where within 72 hours, you can be on the ground in a different country, in a little place, a little apartment you've got, and you're good to go. You've got a bank with money in there, you're good to go. And if you don't have that, boy, you asking for problems. All right. Next comment. This is from Brick Lawson. And he says, our forefathers left Europe. They didn't try to overthrow the current government there. Right, Trump supporters. Right, conservatives, Christians, right-wingers. Yes. Can you imagine if our forefathers, like in the 1600s, said, oh, no, we're not going to go to a new country and start our own lives. No. What we're going to do here is we're going to oust the king, and we're going to replace him with another asshole who we happen to like. If that was their attitude, you and I would not be here. Even if you're not an American, you probably wouldn't be here. I certainly wouldn't be here. If you're an American, you certainly wouldn't be here. There would be no America if our forefathers had the same attitude of modern day Trump supporters and right-wingers. I'm going to stand and fight for my country. That's not the attitude they had. They fucking left because they understood, they were rational, they saw the writing on the wall, they weren't delusional or stupid about it, and they made new lives somewhere else. Yeah, that's how this works. Obviously, those people didn't have the option of voting out their king. And I'm sure some of you will say, well, that wasn't a democracy. This is different. This is democracy. We can vote the bums out. Can you? Really? Congress has a 92% re-election rate the last time I checked the numbers. Can you vote them out? No, you can't. And I've already said it is mathematically impossible for Donald Trump or anyone else to do anything to save the United States and or Canada and or Europe and maybe Australia, New Zealand. I'm not sure about those two. Politics isn't the solution anymore. And if our forefathers had the same attitude, yeah, we wouldn't even be here. There would be no America. Instead, the North American continent would be run by either Native Americans or the Chinese or the Latin world. There would be no America. If the Puritans and people of George Washington's generation were like Trump supporters, we're going to stay and fight. We're not going to cut and run like a bunch of pussies. We're going to stay here and fight and go down with the ship because I love my brother and I love my mom. Jesus. All right, moving on. Next comment is Kazuma Yoshikaze, and I apologize if I mispronounced that, which I'm sure I did. He writes, sometimes you can't, this is talking about moving your family, dealing with your family members who don't want to leave, or what do I do about my family if I want to leave the collapsing Western world, but what about my family? This is a response to that. Sometimes you can't carry anyone but yourself to safety, since most of the time you're hell-bent on solving problems of your own while they stay stuck. Correct. So I have talked about in my other content how you have internal solutions and external solutions. Internal solutions are the solutions you can actually control, the solutions you can design for your own life, and your odds of success are very, very high. Setting up a location-independent business, internationalizing your finances to reduce your taxes, moving out of the collapsing Western world to reduce your taxes, reduce your cost of living, be around more happy people. If you're single, being around nicer and or more attractive women. All these good things. Your odds of success of pulling these things off are very high, especially if you have someone like me or other people on the internet to help you do this, to copy our content in terms of what to do and what not to do. Your odds of success are at least 80, 90%. It might take you some time, but your odds of success are very high. That is opposed to external solutions where you say, I'm not going to change anything about my life. Instead, I'm going to go down to the polls and I'm going to try to re-elect Donald Trump. and he'll fix all my problems for me. He'll make America great again. He'll permanently destroy all the woke people. He'll make all the crime rates go down. He'll solve inflation. Oh, God. Your odds of success in terms of those things actually occurring, not Trump getting reelected or Bernie Sanders if you're a left-winger, or whoever you have in your head if you're not an American. Not that person getting elected, but that person actually being able to do these things, fraction of 1%, 1%, 2%, maybe, probably not even that. So your odds of success are much lower when you focus externally than if you focus internally. The old concept about this, originally postulated by people like Harry Brown, was instead of trying to make a big grassroots political movement to reduce your taxes, why don't you just start a business and reduce your own taxes through legal tax means? Correct. Internal solutions versus external solutions. Continuing on with this comment. He says, sure, it's important to help them, and I agree, he's right, but respect their decisions on things. Correct. You cannot control other adults. I talk about this over in my Alpha Male 2.0 content. You cannot control other adults. You can kind of control small children, yes, but you cannot control other adults. They're going to do whatever the fuck they want, and if you don't like what they're doing, that's your problem, bro. Sorry, you just have to accept that they've made those decisions. Moving on to this comment, you can't force them since you only own yourself. And so I decided if my family needs to stay there, okay, sure, but I will leave to another country, and that too by myself, so I won't be a burden to anyone ever again. That's another good point that I haven't thought of, is that you could make the argument in many Western countries by staying, you are actually part of the problem. There are lots of people in the United States who are currently taking free government welfare money in one form or another. There's about 8 or 9 different forms of this, that I would rather not be in the country. Okay, if I was an American and gave a shit about America. Okay, maybe even some of you are in that category. I don't know. But you could make the argument in certain scenarios that you're actually part of the problem by staying in the country. You're not fixing a goddamn thing by staying in the country. I promise you, I am better able to contribute to the economy of the West and specifically the economy of the United States by me living here in Dubai, because I have more freedoms here in Dubai as a personal individual person who is not a legal citizen of the United Arab Emirates, and by paying much less taxes in Dubai than I ever would the United States. So that you can make that point. So great comments, everybody. If your comment was on this video, let us know. Send us an email, theonlyblackdragon@gmail.com. We will send you your free book. And feel free to leave comments on this video and all my future videos. And if I like your comment and it makes a really good point I haven't thought of, even if it's something that you disagree with me on, I won't publish just positive comments. I will publish quality, adult, negative comments as well, as long as you make good points. And if I include them in a future video, you'll get the book. So leave a comment below and I'll see you in the next video.